What is going on, Trash Talkers? We're back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to give you our season preview, including record predictions for the Dallas Cowboys for the 2021 NFL season. All that and much more coming your way right now! Hey Trash Talkers, it's Mike here. Over 93% of you who view our show each and every day are not subscribed to the channel. If you could hit that red subscribe button, it would help us out tremendously, and it is completely free for you guys. If you want to stay up to date with our daily content, then click that bell icon and you will be notified every time we go live. Nick and I both really appreciate you subscribing to the channel, and we can't wait to keep making more daily content for you. All right, Nick, with free agency over and the draft coming to a close, we can now look forward to the 2021 NFL season. So we're going to make this a series where we do a season outlook and record predictions for all 32 NFL teams. And we're going to start off with the Dallas Cowboys. I just want to go through some of their additions and subtractions that they've had this offseason and just kind of take a look at the state of the team before we get to the record. So taking a look at some of the key signings or additions that the team made, they were able to retain Dak Prescott on a long-term deal. They brought in Keanu Neal. They brought in Terrell Basham from the New York Jets. Jordan Lewis comes back. Carlos Watkins, the big defensive tackle from Houston, comes in. And then obviously the prized possession coming out of the draft, Micah Parsons at linebacker. Which one of these stands out to you as a really solid move by the Dallas Cowboys?
Micah Parsons is first and foremost. What he's going to do for this Dallas Cowboys defense is going to be huge. He is now the quarterback of this defense, and he is going to be perfect. His ability to go sideline to sideline and help in the run game, and his ability to stay healthy is going to be really key for this team. When you look at Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith, these two just cannot stay healthy. So you've now got a guy like Micah Parsons who can do it all, and you know you can rely on him. This is exactly what this defense needs. I think that he is going to prove to be the biggest addition to this team this season.
Yeah, I think the biggest signing or addition that this team made was locking Dak Prescott up to a long-term deal. You talk about the quarterback of the defense. Well, I'm going to talk about the quarterback, period. The quarterback of this team. We saw what this team looked like without Dak Prescott under center last year. And Andy Dalton's a pretty capable quarterback, but this team went to shambles. And obviously they had injuries in other places, and they had other things that were going on. But nonetheless, the loss of Dak Prescott was everything that was going wrong with this team, just personified. And now that he's coming back fully healthy, back from that very scary injury that he suffered, Dak Prescott coming in on a long-term deal, Cowboy for life type of deal. I believe that this was the biggest move that the Cowboys could have made. They had one priority this offseason. That was get Dak Prescott under contract. Now, to go over some of the key losses that they suffered, unfortunately losing Aldon Smith, Chidobe Awuzie, Xavier Woods, Sean Lee to retirement, and Cam Irving. Which one of these stood out to you as the biggest loss for the Cowboys?
Aldon Smith, without a doubt. What he did on the edge was great. After being out of the NFL for 5 seasons and then coming back and having immediate impacts on this for this defensive line was crazy to see. He has such athletic ability that it doesn't matter how much time he's taken off. He's going to prove right away just how good he is. And he picked up right where he left off with the 49ers. I think that Aldon Smith is a major loss for them. And now they're going to have to try to replace him. They're really going to need DeMarcus Lawrence to come back to form, to be who he was in 2018, because that's who they're going to need to replace Aldon Smith. Otherwise, the edge pressure is just not going to be there for the Cowboys, and they're going to be struggling getting to the quarterback this season.
Yeah, they did get Terrell Basham to kind of replace Aldon Smith, but Basham did not have the productivity that Aldon Smith was able to bring to the team last year. So we'll see how that works out in their new system. But I want to take a look. I thought it was going to be Sean Lee, but Chidobe Awuzie jumps out at me as the biggest loss for the Cowboys. When you have a defense that was just giving up immense yardage to opposing quarterbacks and opposing wide receivers, they couldn't stop a nosebleed. And Trayvon Diggs came in and helped them out a little bit. You know, he was their number one corner as a rookie and did a really good job. Chidobe Awuzie is one of those guys where he was a solid corner, possibly a number 3 corner. They just needed somebody to be thrust into the position ahead of him, but they lose him, so now they're down to 1 corner on this team, and it's going to be very tough. They're not going to have anybody to really be able to put pressure on opposing wide receivers and challenge them for the ball. So I think Chidobe Awuzie is going to be a major loss, and you're going to see the Cowboys struggle. We're going to see that come into play when we go through the record predictions. Which wide receiving cores are they actually going to be able to stop?
I mean, I think they're really lucky that in the second round they were able to get Kelvin Joseph. He was a really nice cornerback addition, so I think he'll definitely be able to help, but he is nowhere near what Chidobe Awuzie was as a 1. I think Chidobe Awuzie would have been perfect in the Cowboy system as a 2 after having a season with Trayvon Diggs as the 1. But now he's gone. Kelvin Joseph's got to try to pick up that slack right away. It's a tough task for a rookie, and he's got to face a lot of big competition, especially in the NFC East with the weapons that are now there. So he's got his work cut out for him. This Dallas Cowboys defense has got to get their stuff in order really quick.
Yeah, so let's jump into their record predictions because I want to take a look. So, with all of these additions, all of these subtractions, we're taking a look at the Dallas Cowboys team, and they have a very strong schedule that they're going to have to go through, especially their division. And we'll go through each team, like I said before, but we're going to take a look at the Cowboys and the teams that they have to face. So, let's start off with week 1 here. We have the Dallas Cowboys visiting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Thursday Night Football to open the season. It is banner unveiling night. It is ring ceremony night. It is a night like no other. I understand it because I'm a Patriots fan and I've seen it 6 times in my lifetime. And I think the Cowboys are just not going to be ready. The Buccaneers are going to be on a high from receiving their rings, getting their banner unveiled in front of a packed stadium, a packed Raymond James Stadium. I think the Buccaneers are easily going to take game 1.
For the second game, though, the Cowboys are facing the Chargers in LA, and I think this is a better matchup for the Cowboys. I think that their offensive attack is going to be too much for the Chargers secondary to handle, and I think the Chargers have great weapons, but I think the Cowboys are going to be able to get some pressure. The Chargers offensive line is new. They've got some good guys there, but I think that they're going to be able to get some pressure on Justin Herbert. The run game is not there for the Chargers. I think that Ezekiel Elliott's going to have a really nice time against this Chargers defense as well. I'm taking the Cowboys in this one.
All right, now next up we have week 3, the vaunted Philadelphia Eagles, the division rival, the team that we all love to hate, visiting the Dallas Cowboys. This is the Cowboys' first game in their stadium in Dallas. They get to come back to Jerry World. They're 1-1, and at this point, the Eagles they just are not a threat in this division. I'm taking the Cowboys pretty easily. Monday Night Football, week 3. You know, it's a division rival game, so you know the Eagles are going to play them very hard, but the lack of weapons that the Eagles have, the lack of defense that they impose right now, it's not going to be pretty for the Eagles. I think the Cowboys handily win this game.
Week number 4, we have the Panthers at Cowboys, and this Panthers team cannot be taken lightly. They have had some serious additions this offseason, and if Matt Rule can put it all together, or if Joe Brady can get this offense under control, they are going to be a very strong team in the NFC, and I think that their offensive attack is right up there with the Dallas Cowboys. If Christian McCaffrey is at full strength, he's going to be a huge addition for Sam Darnold, and this defense is very strong. They've got a great pass rush. They've added some nice corners. If AJ Bouye can come back from that torn ACL, he'll be a great addition for them. I think the Panthers are just going to be a little too much for the Cowboys. It'll be a close game, but I'm taking the Panthers in this one.
Yeah, I agree there. Moving on to week number 5, we have the New York Giants. Again, another divisional matchup where the Cowboys are now at home facing off against the team that now looks very different from the team that was put out there in 2020. The New York Giants made amazing, incredible moves this offseason to fill up that offense. Obviously they bring in Kenny Galladay, they bring in players like John Ross, and they filled out the wide receiving room handsomely. Saquon Barkley is coming back from injury. Daniel Jones has another year under the new system that they have in New York under Joe Judge. This defense got better, bringing in Adoree Jackson and other players like that. I think the Giants are the best team in the division right now. I think they're going to edge out the Cowboys here on Sunday of Week 5.
And then it just gets harder for the Cowboys in week 6. They have to go into New England and face this Patriots team that has had some amazing additions this offseason. The Cowboys faced the Patriots 2 years ago at Gillette Stadium, and it was a downpour in that game. And Dallas pride came through and really showed up in this one, but it just wasn't enough as the Patriots were able to handle Ezekiel Elliott in the rain. They were able to handle Dak Prescott in this bad weather. And I think even if it's clear weather, I think the Patriots are just going to be a little too much. Playing at Gillette is one of the hardest things to do as the away team, and I think that it's going to get the best of the Dallas Cowboys in this one.
Yeah, so right now we have the Dallas Cowboys at a measly 2-4, and I think things are about to get better. They go on to a bye week in Week 7, and then come out of the bye week against the Minnesota Vikings in Week 8, and I think that they're going to absolutely smash the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins has Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, and that's great and all, but the Minnesota Vikings defense is actually worse than the Dallas Cowboys, and it's tough. It's actually tough to say that, but it is. The Vikings defense is arguably one of the worst defenses in the league. The Cowboys are going to have their way with it, and Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen might do a lot against the Cowboys defense, but when you have CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup running across the field and Dak Prescott tossing this ball to Ezekiel Elliott's going to be able to run nicely, I think that the Cowboys will win this game pretty easily.
Yeah, and then moving into week 9, they're facing the Broncos at home, and if we look at this straight up, Dak Prescott versus Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Lock, take your pick. It doesn't matter. Dak Prescott's going to win that battle every single time. And then this Broncos defense, they're very notorious for getting injured a lot. And I just don't think they have the defense it takes to stop this Cowboys offense. I think that the Cowboys are going to have a much more successful time stopping this Broncos offense. And I think that the Cowboys are going to get this one pretty handily.
All right, moving on to week number 10, we have the Atlanta Falcons visiting the Dallas Cowboys, and this is kind of a revenge game, but not one that most people are aware of. Dan Quinn, the former head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, is now the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, and I guarantee you he has this game circled on his calendar. If nothing else, it's out of pride. He loved his time in Atlanta, but it did come to an abrupt halt when they fired him mid-season, replaced him with Raheem Morris, and the team actually did better. So I look for Dan Quinn to come firing on all cylinders. Look for Micah Parsons, Jalen Smith, and Leighton Vander Esch, should they be healthy, to come in full throttle. They are going to swarm Matt Ryan in this offense, especially with no Julio Jones. Take a look at some of our other videos about that, but at this point the Dallas Cowboys are going to absolutely obliterate the Atlanta Falcons.
Wow, standing at 5-4 going to week 11, the Cowboys are looking solid until you realize they face the Kansas City Chiefs in week 11. Not much to say. Kansas City Chiefs are just going to roll the Dallas Cowboys. There's no way the Dallas Cowboys defense is going to stop the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game to come back from, but they get to go home on Thursday night on a short week. They're facing the Las Vegas Raiders, and I actually have the Cowboys in this one. I believe that the Cowboys are going to edge out the Raiders. The Raiders are in flux right now. Their offensive line is kind of in shambles. Their offensive weapons are all over the place. Bryan Edwards, Henry Ruggs, that they're decent, but they have not proven a lot in the NFL so far. And then the defensive side of the ball, can they stay healthy on defense? Can they continue to bring pressure? The addition of Yannick Ngakoue to help them with their edge rush is going to be something to watch out for in this game. But the corners on the outside, can they do a lot? I'm not too sure. Against the Cowboys' loaded wide receiving core, so I believe the Cowboys will win this Thursday night game.
Yeah, and then they move on to another Thursday night game. Not something you see a lot, back-to-back Thursday games, but they're facing the Saints in the Superdome. But this isn't the same Saints team that we have seen over the last few years. Their defense got completely torn apart this offseason with cap casualties coming left and right. This defensive line has completely been torn apart. Their secondary has some holes in it. Their linebackers are completely erased. I think that the Dallas Cowboys offense is really going to take advantage of it. And then Jameis Winston's going to throw a few interceptions this one. If it's not him, it's going to be Taysom Hill running the ball consistently because he just can't pass the ball. I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys in this one.
Yeah, so now sitting at 7-5, they get to see their division rival Washington football team not only for the first time this season, but for the first time in 3 weeks. So we're taking a look at Dallas visiting Washington. And these divisional matchups, especially in the NFC East, are very tough matchups. Doesn't matter what the rosters really look like. They play very hard against each other. I'm actually going to give this one to the Washington football team playing at home. The Cowboys, they may have the extra rest and they may have the extra time off coming off of 2 straight Thursday games, but the Washington football team is no joke this year. If Ryan Fitzpatrick is still the same quarterback that we know and love, then he's going to be able to rally this team, get them some points. And, against the Dallas Cowboys defense that I've already told you about, it's going to be pretty easy for them. So we'll see. I don't think the Dallas Cowboys are out of it just yet, but they're going to lose a very close one to Washington.
Then they move on to another division rival again, second time against the Giants, but this time they're at MetLife Stadium. And this is they finally have seen Kenny Golladay against them as a Giant. I think they're going to have a much better time understanding who they're facing on offense and how that offense is being run. And I think that they're going to understand how to fix the mistakes they made in the first game. I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to figure out a way to edge this one out. It'll be close, but I think the Dallas Cowboys got this one.
Yeah, I like that. And this is usually about the time that Saquon Barkley has been out for a few weeks. So, at this point, they probably don't have to worry about him. But in week 16, we actually have the Washington football team coming to Dallas, and I think the Dallas Cowboys will be able to exact revenge on the Washington football team. They're going to absolutely obliterate it. I actually don't think this is going to be a close game at all. In fact, I believe that this is going to be a very lopsided score from the get-go, possibly 3-4 touchdown lead for the Dallas Cowboys. I think that the Washington football team, they've made some good moves, but the lack of quarterback play that they have right now is going to come to bite them toward the end of the season. And Ryan Fitzpatrick's not going to be able to know what to do with himself when they have this swarming defense all over him.
Absolutely. Now, week 17, usually this is the last game of the season, but things have changed this season, and they still got one more after that. But the Cardinals are a huge task this year. J.J. Watt, A.J. Green, these were big additions. Malcolm Butler, another big addition for the Arizona Cardinals. And I think when you put it all together, the Cardinals are just they're too well-rounded. They have too many offensive weapons. They have too many defensive weapons, and they are in prime position to go on a Super Bowl run this season. They have really sold out to make a Super Bowl run in the next couple of years. I think that they're going to be a little too much for the Cowboys to handle, and I have the Cardinals taking this one.
Yeah, so sitting at 9-7, going into the final week of the regular season, the Dallas Cowboys look to be in a spot where they are fighting for their playoff lives. And at this point, I actually have them going into Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia and absolutely, once again, obliterating the Philadelphia Eagles. That's right. I do not believe in the Philadelphia Eagles. In fact, I think that this is not going to be a close game. The Dallas Cowboys are going to secure their victory and hope and pray that they can get into the playoffs as a wild card. Now with 3 wild card spots, they have a very solid shot at getting there. And in fact, I think that they have a better shot than most to actually represent the NFC in the wild card and actually move on. So I like where they are here. I have them beating the Eagles team and finishing their season at 10-7.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad record considering where they finished last year with a sub 500 record, and that's a huge turnaround. I think we're going to see Mike McCarthy really get better as a second-year head coach with the Dallas Cowboys, and the addition of Dan Quinn's going to be big for this defense. He brought over DeMonte Kazee and Keanu O'Neal, which is big for them as well. Help bolster up that secondary with the addition of Kelvin Joseph, Micah Parsons. I think that this team is really going to be good. And then if Dak Prescott can stay healthy, this offense is really going to be a blockbuster to be seen. They're really going to be putting points up left and right. It's going to be hard for any defense to stop. I think that they're going to be a really strong team, and they're potentially going to win the division with this record.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And you know what? At this point, they could be in prime position to win the division, like you said. But either way, I believe they're going to make a playoffs. They're going to be able to make a playoff run. You know, it's not unprecedented. A team from the NFC East comes into the playoffs as an underdog and can make their way all the way to the Super Bowl and win it, circa 2007 New York Giants. But I do believe that this Dallas Cowboys team has a lot of upside. They could win some of the games that we've said that they're going to lose. They could lose some of the games that we said they're going to win. Either way, I'm really excited for the Dallas Cowboys year. Let us know in the comments what you think as well. Tell us what you have their record being. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.